Hey guys, my name's Kyle. I drink like 4 or 5 of these a day just to get it started. I'm actually starting to collect cans now, so like when I'm done with the can, I'll just put it on my windowsill, and when girls come in, I'll just show off my can collection, my energy drink Rockstar collection. So yeah, pretty gnarly, dude. Ugh. And I just put this poster up on my wall. Check this out. See that poster? I just put that poster up on my wall because yesterday, like, my mom pissed me off so much, so I just punched the wall, and I was like, fuck, she's gonna totally flip out if she sees it, so I just got a poster and covered it up real quick. So yeah. Rightio, g'day guys. I got another juicy episode lined up for you guys. I read a comment the other day saying my opinions or advice was really blunt, and couldn't agree more, to be honest. Now, I'm not a psychologist or an expert in any of these topics, obviously. I'm just some fucking loser in his bedroom talking about other people's problems while forgetting my own. So yeah, my advice is pretty blunt. Keep it simple, straightforward, although probably wrong half the time. Doesn't matter, it's all entertainment at the end of the day. Quick thank you to everyone tuning in. Appreciate all your support, all your comments, likes, feedbacks. It means a lot, and I love reading them. So without further ado, 3, 2, 1. Righty-o, let's kick off the episode with a you should know, which is a fact that you should know. Most people can't tell the difference between cheap wine versus expensive wine, not even wine connoisseurs. Spending more money on expensive wine is usually a waste, and most people can't tell the difference anyway, not even wine enthusiasts. Now, this is something I always tell my friends. Me, as a wine lover, wine has been ingrained into my blood since I was very young, thanks to my nonno. For the past, 6-7 years, I've been helping him make red wine, and he's been making wine for years, so I've been a big wine drinker in my lifetime. Now, I never pay too much for red wine, because I know this fact, that there isn't really a big difference. The only difference is how it's made, how long it's been fermented for, and which type of barrel it's been made in, like an oak barrel, etc. So if you put a blindfold on someone and tell them to taste a cheap wine, an expensive wine, and then in the middle wine, they cannot pick out the difference between the three. So there's been many studies on this. For an example, a Wall Street businessman ordered the Bordeaux first growth. I don't know how, it's like this French word, Bordeaux, whatever. The most expensive wine on the restaurant's list at $2,000, but they served him instead an $18 Pinot, the restaurant's cheapest. And he had no idea. So that is why I'll never pay top price for red wine. It is all the same stuff. Rightio, let's move on to relationship advice. The place where everyone loves to give advice but can't take their own. My husband spat on me today. Is this forgivable? Me personally, I think that is a low act. Like I'd rather be hit than spat on. It's just foul. It only belongs in the bedroom where someone has consensually approved or requested to be spat on. So let's read the story. I don't know what to do. We got into a really weird fight this morning. I just need to describe what happened and see what people think. A little background info. My husband is really irritable in the mornings when he wakes up. Still no excuse to spit on someone, so I'd love to see where this is going. He's just not a morning person. Whatever. Well, today was his day off from work, so I was expecting him to sleep in. I woke up early with our baby around 7 a.m. and I noticed he was awake, surprisingly. We sometimes sleep in separate rooms because of the baby. She's little, so she sleeps in our bedroom and still wakes up a few times during the night. So if he wants to sleep in the next day, he'll sleep in a separate room so he doesn't get woken up. Anyway, he seemed to be in a good mood. We sang some songs with the baby, everything was good and happy. Then I went and made some coffee and played with the baby for a bit. Here's where the fight starts. I went back to his room to ask him if he could pick up a few things at the grocery store later that day, since he was planning on running some errands. As I'm talking with him, I farted. I didn't even think twice about it, it just came out. Well, he suddenly became furious. It really set him off. Are you fucking kidding? Has this guy never farted in his life? How can you get so angry at someone for farting? Personally, as a farter, proud farter, I don't just have little silent farts. I need to let everyone know about it. If someone got angry at me for farting, I would laugh and tell them to fuck off. Honestly. What, does he think it's so unladylike or something? Now, I could understand his anger if we walked right up to him, put your ass right in his face, and then farted. I could probably understand why he'd be angry at that. But I'm pretty sure you didn't do that, since he probably would have mentioned it. I'm pretty sure it was just an innocent fart in the distance. I apologized. You apologized for farting? Well, the least you can do is say excuse me, really, but you don't have to say, oh, I'm so sorry, everyone. What's next? You have to apologize when you go to the toilet? Crikey. I realized it was rude. It just happened without thinking. The fact that you have this mindset that you have to profusely apologize for farting, who cares? Let it out. But he just kept screaming and repeating himself over and over and saying how disgusting I am. He insisted I leave his room so I could go back to sleep. Fuck, this guy needs a therapist or something. Jesus, this guy has been traumatized by someone farting. This guy seems like he was tortured when he was young. In his childhood, he was suffocated with farts from the ages of 6 to 9 years old. I don't know why I said 6 and 9. It's just something that automatically comes to my head. By someone pulling over the doona of his head and suffocating him and trapping him while they fart or something. That's what must have happened. He leaned over the stair railing and spit on me. Yeah, that is just fucking disgusting. I'm sorry. That's not a good sign. When someone spits on you, they really want to be physical with you, but they know they can't hurt you. So I'd watch out for that. That's a sign of maybe potential domestic violence to come. And I might be scraping the bottom of the barrel, but when someone spits on you, it's because they have so much built up anger that they want to physically hurt you, but they know they shouldn't, so they resort to spitting on you. That's what I believe anyway. I'm not a doctor, but it starts out with a little spit, then a little pinch, and maybe a little slap, then a closed fist, then a knife. Spitting could be a gateway to future potential harmful actions. Yeah, keep an eye out for that. This has never happened before. I was so upset. I got all crazy and said I was going to call the police on him because spitting on me is basically assault. It is assault. It is. Although it's a light form of assault, it's still assault and it's disgusting. I don't know how it would hold up if you call the police, what they'd actually do, but don't take it lightly. I shouldn't have done that because I was never really going to call the police. I just wanted him to get into his head that it's never okay to spit on someone. I don't know what to do. He has this wild temper where things just set him off, and I have this problem where I can't stand someone being mad at me. That's not really a problem. I think that's just the normal thing. You generally don't want people to be mad at you. I admit I was really annoying, but I don't deserve to be spat on. But like, where do I go from here? Okay, you could say you're rude and annoying, but spitting on someone is never the answer. You should feel safe and comfortable enough to just fart in your own house. It's not a crime. It's not going to hurt anyone. In fact, I read a few studies that can cure cancer. Don't know how accurate they were, but whatever you read on the internet has to be true, right? I'd be cautious of him. You said he has a wild temper that can be set off at anything, and if it's something as small as a fart, then that is a little sign of what is to come. If you're going to be too scared to fart in your relationship, then you're in for a lifetime of misery and anxiousness and just walking on eggshells, really. So I'm not going to recommend to leave him because I don't know how bad the extent of the relationship is, although it sounds pretty bad if you can't even fart. And you guys have got a child together, so I recommend couple counseling, him seeing a therapist. You keep reaching out to people. Let your family members know and never hide it if there is any domestic abuse. So I'm going to leave it at that. Today I fucked up by having my roommate's friend accidentally lick my cum off her hand. Wowee. I would love to know how someone accidentally licks cum off their hand. Interesting. I was jerking off in my room. You naughty boy. Jerking off is a sin. You are a child of God. Repent, I tell ya. Repent. Anyway, and right when I finished, I heard my roommate come into the flat and quickly yell for me saying she needed a charger for her phone that I had taken. I told her to wait a second and I quickly cleaned up, but I missed a small blotch of jizz in my hand, which I didn't realize at the time. It's not that fucking hard to just wipe your whole hand and dry it. Don't know how you missed a whole blotch of jizz. I walked out with the charger and I saw my roommate was with a friend. I said hi, handed over the charger, but I didn't realize there was a glob of cum on it. I quickly realized and apologized, and I said I'd been eating a coconut icicle and it got in my hand. That is some quick thinking, I'll give you that. There's some very quick thinking. Coconut is kind of clear, see-through, maybe of a slightly thicker texture, so I could see how you're eating a coconut icicle specifically in your room. I was going to tell her the sink was right over there, but cut me off and said, "Oh wow, that sounds delicious," and licked her hand. Oh shit, so that backfired. It was like my whole world was crashing down before my eyes. She did a big lick of the cum, and right away her eyes went wide and she looked shocked. Clearly she had realized she had just licked cum. Me personally, I've never tasted cum. Don't plan to either. But it seems to me that cum has a very distinct smell. Well, I know what it smells like. And obviously it has a distinct taste because she knows what it tastes like. She stopped and said, oh my God, and almost started to do this nervous kind of, is this really happening giggle? And then said, what was that? That wasn't, cum, right? And I laughed really hard, awkwardly, and said, no, it wasn't. But it was really obvious I was lying. She then started sort of panicking and ran to the sink and started washing her mouth out and gagging. I kept insisting it wasn't cum. Yeah, buddy, everyone in that room knows it was cum. From the moment you yelled out to your friend, 1 minute, to the moment you said coconut icicle, you're just gonna have to concede the fact that everyone knows it's cum. The bare minimum, at least you can say you've had your daily source of protein, because cum is rich in protein. That's just making the best out of a shit situation, really. If you guys do happen to get married, at least you have an interesting story, hey? I mean, come on, pun intended. Alright, time to get into Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for telling a woman that we could not give her a smaller horse because of her weight? In my immediate opinion, reaction, no, you're not the asshole. Putting too much weight on a horse, especially a smaller horse, can cause permanent injury and damage, and that is just animal abuse. An animal's health and safety should never be compromised just for a human's entertainment. Especially if you're working for animals, it's your obligatory job to look after and manage the well-being of said animal. So no, you're not an asshole. It should never be a debate when it comes to the abuse of animals. And I know weight is a sensitive topic for some. Personally, not me. I always make fun of my own weight, especially during this COVID period. I noticed I have stacked on a considerable amount of weight, and I make fun of myself more than anyone. But I know for some other people it's a sensitive topic, so I'm not trying to fat shame anyone or discriminate against someone who is overweight or a larger size. Anyway, for context, I work at a stable. The situation mentioned above happened this past summer. We had a family come in to do an hour trail ride. A mum, a dad, and a kid. The mum was extremely overweight, and anyone who knows anything about horses will know that a horse is not supposed to carry more than 20% of their body weight. We put the kid on one of our small paint quarter horse, and we put the dad on another one of our quarter horse. Finally, it's to put the mother on her horse, and we bring out the biggest Perk Clydes, that's a type of horse, and she asked if she could have a small horse, so we brought out the smaller Clydes, and then she turned to her son's horse and requested one of the same size. His horse was so small that he just barely passed the size requirement to be considered a horse instead of a pony. When she said this, I took her aside and explained as politely as I could why we would not be able to do that. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something along the lines of, I'm sorry, but I really can't do that because a horse of that size would be too small for you. A horse is only supposed to carry 20% of their body weight, and any more than that could lead to serious back, leg, and shoulder injuries. This woman's face became extremely angry upon hearing this, but she never said anything to me, and she got on the horse and went for a ride. I didn't think much more until we got back, and when the husband came to pay for the ride, he confronted me about how rude it was to say that to a paying customer, called me fat phobic, and told me that I should have done what she asked because only 1 hour wouldn't hurt the horse too bad. Hey lady, only 1 hour of exercise wouldn't hurt you either. Sorry, that was rude. That was fucking rude. I don't know her circumstances. She could be fat for a number of reasons, but I thought it was quite fitting. She's willing to be so inconsiderate to a defenseless, harmless horse, so therefore I'm willing to be inconsiderate to her feelings. I told him exactly what I told her about the possible injuries, and he called me an arsehole and said that his wife was more important than the stupid horse. So I told him to fuck off. Yeah, you go girl. I do feel bad for having to deny the woman and for telling the man to fuck off, but I believe the horse's health is way more important. So am I the arsehole? Yeah, as I said from the start, didn't even have to read that huge story. It was quite clear from the start, you're not the arsehole. Human entertainment should never compromise the health and safety of an animal. Probably more professional ways of telling the husband to fuck off, but personally I would have done the same thing, so I can't blame you there. You weren't fat shaming her at all. You're being precautious and taking safety measures for the horse's well-being. Because it is an animal, it is your duty to be the voice for the animal and speak on the animal's behalf. So, final verdict, you are not the asshole. Dun, dun, dun. Alright, last topic before I wrap it up. It is a life pro tip. Ooh haha. If you offer someone an alcoholic drink and they say no, immediately tell them what non-alcoholic drinks you have, with no judgment. They don't owe you any explanation on recovery, medical, or whether or not they just don't feel like it that day. Sorry, if I'm at an alcoholic event or party and someone doesn't drink, I'll tell them what that girl told them in the last story. I'll tell them fuck off. Because alcohol is my coping mechanism to hide and cover up my miserable life. And if someone has a better way to cope, then that will make me feel like they're a better person than I am. And I'm here to get drunk and have a good time, not realize how much of a shit person I am. So I'll tell them to fuck off. If you're not going to drink alcohol like the rest of us miserable cunts, then you can pack your bags and get the fuck out of here. But unfortunately, I'm a reasonable person, so yeah, I'll gladly offer them a non-alcoholic beverage, especially taking in factors like they could be a recovering alcoholic or they're allergic to some alcohols. So scratch whatever I just said and be a good person and don't ask questions. Just offer them a non-alcoholic beverage. Alright guys, I'm gonna leave it on that note. As usual, the top 5 comments regarding the topic of this video will be featured at the end of the next video, so please do get commenting, leave a big fat juicy like, and I will 100% see you, or you'll see me, in the next video. Goodbye. Peace.
My own wave can't stop my shine. In the lane, my own lane can't stop my grind. 40 yard in the V12 and like 1.5. At 19, I cleared 19 in a month, no lie. Oh God. And I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Go dummy, go beast, oh no, I go beast.
Comments from last video brought to you by Luke fucking Brooks.